Alright, here we go with 5th grade Excel lesson number 139. We're going to learn today about multiplying 3-digit numbers by other 3-digit numbers. This should not be too hard for you. It's just pretty much the same as multiplying by a 2-digit number, except you got to do one more step. So let's understand the process here first and what we're doing. So right here is the problem 124 times 234. What we're really going to do is we're going to multiply 124 times 4 first. Then we're going to multiply 124 times 30, because the 3 is in the tens place. Then we're going to multiply 124 times 200, and then we're going to put all those answers together. So you can see here that in this first step, they multiplied 124 times 4 and got 496. Then they put down a 0 for the placeholder here as the second step. The third step over here is that they're going to multiply 124 times 3, which is 372. Of course, it's times 30, which means it's 3,720. Then for our next step, we're going to put down 2 zeros because we're going to multiply 124 times 200. So the answer has to end in 2 zeros, right? If you're counting by 200s, you're never going to get a number in the tens place or the ones place besides 0. So we're adding those zeros in there. And then they did 124 times 200, and the answer came out right here, 248. And then we add them all together, and we get the number 29,016. Now let's think about this. Does this make sense? We have 124, let's just call that 100, times 200. Well, 100 times 2 is 200. 100 times 20 then would be 2,000, and 100 times 200 would then be 20,000. The answer is 29,000. Now, why is it so much bigger than 20,000? Well, the number 124 is much bigger than 100, and 234 is much bigger than 200. So when I estimated using 100 times 200, my answer is going to be on the low side because I took both of these numbers and rounded down. Alright, so here it shows you some other problems. Steps 1 through 3 are the same as when multiplying by a 2-digit number. That's what we just saw up here. Step 4 shows placing zeros in the ones and tens place so that the partial product resulting from multiplication by the digit in the hundreds place in the multiplier will start in the hundreds column. In other words, they added in these 2 zeros or the 1 0 because we're multiplying by not a one-digit number, we're multiplying by a number that's in the tens place or the hundreds place. It's basically repeating what I already taught you up there above. Okay, let's take a look at some samples. Here's number 1. 8 times 7. Actually, we're going to do 298 times 7. 8 times 7, let's switch over to my pen here. Okay, 8 times 7 is 56. They would put the 5 up there. 9 times 7 is 63, plus 5 is 68. Put the 6 there. 2 times 7 is 14, plus your 6 is 20. Alright, so now we've used those carries. The next step that they go to, as an example here, they do not do 298 times 0. There's no point in doing that. So we skip to 298 times 300. We need 2 zeros at the end of our number because if we're counting by 300s, we're never going to have a number in the tens or ones place other than 0. So now we're going to do 298 times 3, and that goes right there. 8 times 3 is 24. You're going to carry the 2. Here's where kids get confused. They skip over that 9 sometimes. So watch out for that. We got to do the 9 times 3. 27 plus 2 is 29. Carry the 2 up to there. 2 times 3 is 6. Plus the 2 more makes 8. Add them together and get the final answer. And if you think about the answer here with estimation, this is about 300. That's about 300. 300 times 300 is going to be 9 with 4 zeros after it. That's 90,000. The answer here is 91,800 or 486. Really close to 90,000. All right, here goes number 2. Now in this one here, they're showing you that you don't need to go through all the steps of doing 471 times 0, 471 times 0, and then multiplying it by the 200. Just skip straight to the 200, put down your 2 zeros. 471 times 2 is 942, and so the answer is $942, because this is $4.71, not $471. Here's a decimal problem like this with 3-digit multiplication. First of all, they skipped over that 0. There's no reason to multiply 6.84 times 0. And then we go straight to putting a 0 in here for the placeholder. Not even sure why they wrote 7.60. You see that? They could have just written 7.6 and ended up with the correct answer. But anyway, 4 times 6 is where they're going to go to here. That's 24. They carry the 2. 8 times 6 is 48 plus 2 is 50. Carry the 5 over to there. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 5 is 41. That's written right there. Now we're going to do 6.84 times the 7. 2 placeholders because this number is 2 spots over. 4, and we're holding the place of the 100ths place and the 10ths place there by putting those 2 zeros in. 4 times 7 is 28. Carry, it's the same carry there, 2. 8 times 7 is 56 plus 2 is 58. Same carry there. Look at that. Another 5. Okay, 6 times 7 is 42 plus 5 is 47. They added all these numbers together, and then they moved the decimal point over to here where it belongs, and we can use estimation. Of course, you can count the spots on the right side of the decimal point and know that there are 4, so you're going to need 4 spots here. But also think about the reasonableness of this answer. 6.84 is really close to 7. 7.6 is really close to either 7 or 8. 8 times 7 is 56. The answer is 51.984, and that answer makes sense. Imagine if we would have put the decimal point right there between the 9 and the 8. Then my answer would be 519.84. That does not make any sense for this problem because 8 times 7 is 56. The answer is not going to be 519. It makes much more sense to have the answer be 51. All right, one last problem here. 8 times 8 is 64. Going to bring the 6 up here. 0 times 8 plus the 6 is 6. 5 times 8 is 40. 1 0 down here for the placeholder of the ones place. 8 times 4 is 32. Bring the 3 up to here. And 0 times 4 plus the 3 is the 3. And then 5 times 4 is 20. Then we do $5.08 times 2. You can probably do that in your head. We got the 2 zeros there to hold it. And 508 times 2 is 1016, right? 10, 5 doubled is 10, and 8 doubled is 16. We add up all of these, and we get $1,259.84, $1,259.84. Got to have those 2 spots over here because we're dealing with money. All right, let's go to the next part of the lesson. Okay, we're going to try some of these together here. Let's do the first one completely together. I'm going to talk you through it, get your pencil ready, and kind of see if you can keep up with me. We'll just do it together here, okay? So first, 6 times 3, you're going to get 18, right? Carry the 1. 7 times 3, 21, plus 1 is 22. Carry the 2 up to there. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. Let's cross those out so we don't accidentally use them again. Put a 0 in for our ones placeholder. 6 times 4, 24. Bring the 2 up there above the 7. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 2 is 30. Bring the 3 up there above the hundreds place. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 3 is 19. Sorry about the sloppy writing. I'm writing with a stylus and it's really hard. Okay, cross those out. We need 2 placeholders because we're multiplying by 300 now. 6 times 3 is 18. Let's bring the 1 up here. 7 times 3 is 21. Plus 1 is 22. Carry the 2 up to the last spot here. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. Draw the line. 8 plus zeros. 6. 4 plus 8 is 12. Are you keeping up with me? 1 plus 1 plus 9 plus 2, that's 13. Carry the 1 up to there, and we got 15. And then we need a comma in there, 153,268. Let's see if that makes sense. This is about 500. This is about, it's way more than 300. So answer is going to be much bigger than this. But let's just see how this comes out. 500 times 300 would be 150,000, because you have 15 plus your 4 zeros, and that's 150,000. Look, we have 153,268. When you're taking a test and you don't have a check answer, when you're doing these in real life, it might be a good idea to use that little quick estimation like that to double check your answer and make sure your answer makes sense. All right, why don't you pause the video, see if you can do number 6 on your own, then turn it back on when you're ready for the answer. All right, so you should have done this on your own. There we go. 1 times 5 is 5. 6 times 5 is 30. 2 times 5 is 10. 13. And we don't need to do the second step there. We do need to put 2 placeholders, and we're doing 261 times 1, which is just 261. Add them up, get 27405. Now the question is, where do we put the decimal point? We're multiplying 0.261, which is less than 1, times 1. Less than 1 times 1 has to be less than 1, because 1 times 1 is 1. So I can't put the decimal point between the 2 and the 7. That would make the answer greater than 2. The answer has to be less than 1. And of course we have 3 decimal spots in this number and 2 here, so we need 5 in the answer. All right, pause the video and do number 7. So you should have already done 7. We can start with the second step. We don't need to multiply by 0. 7 times 5 is 35. Bring the 3 up here. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 3 is 13. Let's put 2 placeholders now down because we're going to multiply by 200. Get rid of that. 7 times 2 is 14. Bring the 1 up. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and 1 times 2 is 2. And we add them up and get 38900. But where does the decimal point go? Well, this is 250 times $1. So that would be about $250, except this is a lot more than $1. It's $1.27, so the answer is going to be higher than $250. So it would make sense to put the decimal point right there. Don't forget your dollar sign. All right, pause the video and then do number 8 and turn it back on when you're ready. So you should have already done number 8. Here we go real quickly. The first one is 426, because 426 times 1 is obviously 426. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 is 12, plus 3 is 15. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25. 2 placeholders now. Get rid of these. 6 times 3 is 18. Bring up the 1 up there. Oh, where am I? 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Bring up the 1. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13 again. And add them together. Hopefully this is right. 9 plus 8 is 17. 1, 2, that's 8, 9, 5, 1. Okay. Now, 400, let's say this is if this one's 400, let's go 400 on that one, because we're going down on this one, up on the second number. 400 times 400 is 16 with 4 zeros after it. So this is 15 with 4 numbers after it. It's actually 15,900, which is really close to 160,000. So that looks like we came up with the right answer, at least using estimation. All right, pause the video and then do these 2 problems down here at the bottom. Add up the numbers, your answers, and the check answer. Keep working at it until you get that check answer to come out, and then turn the video back on and see what the answers are. All right, there you go. I already did the work all there for you, and hopefully you were able to get it to come out right. And if you didn't, check out what I did and compare it to your work and see where you went wrong. Maybe you're having trouble with your times tables. Maybe you didn't scribble out your numbers that you carried over to the next column. Maybe you forgot to put the correct placeholders in there. Not sure, but check it out and see what you're doing wrong so you can learn from your mistakes. And thanks for watching.